He looked at Vader. "You, Lord Vader, will deal with the disturbance." "Yes, Your Highness," Thrawn said.
"Yes, my master,"
Vader said. Palpatine leaned back into the depths of his throne. "Then go." The two servants turned and walked toward the door between the double rows of red-cloaked Imperial guards silently lining their path. Palpatine watched them go. The Chiss in his white Grand Admiral's uniform, the Sith garbed in black, his long cloak swirling behind him. The solution to this particular puzzle would indeed require both of them. But more important, it would address Palpatine's lingering questions. He smiled thinly. Time for Thrawn to face his future. Time for Vader to face his past. Prologue. Then, Anakin Skywalker pursed his lips. "Nope," he said. "Never heard of it."
"No reason why you should have,"
Padme Amidala said, shaking her head. She'd left her hair down today, and the tresses flicked with subtle lights as they moved. Anakin had always liked that effect.
"It's on the edge of the Outer Rim, right up against the unknown regions."
"And it's important why?"
"I don't know,"
Padme admitted.
"All I have is Duja's message that she stumbled onto something going on somewhere in the Batu area, and thinks we ought to investigate it."
"Something going on somewhere?" Anakin echoed. "Not exactly the most solid intel report I've ever heard."
"That's what everyone else in the High Command thinks, too."
Padme paused, and Anakin sensed the mix of trepidation and stubbornness rising up in her.
"Which is why I'm going out there myself to check it out."
Anakin knew his wife well enough to have guessed where this was going. Even so, it was something of a punch in the gut. "Alone?" he asked. Again, not like he needed to ask.
"Of course not,"
Padme said.
"Duja's already there, remember?" "Oh, don't look at me like that."
"Like what?"
"Like a..."
There was a barely noticeable pause as she reflexively reminded herself where everyone else in the office complex was, and confirmed that no one was in a position to eavesdrop.
"Husband, or at least a Jedi protector,"
she added with an impish smile. Anakin smiled back. There had been a time when that was all he was to her, though even then he'd wanted more. "Well, I am a Jedi protector, you know," he said. "No reason I shouldn't look or talk like one." He clenched his teeth briefly, forcing back his rising emotion the way his Jedi instructors had taught him. "Unfortunately, I'm also a Jedi General, and there's a battle coming up that I'm supposed to lead. If only..." He broke off. If only Ahsoka hadn't left the Jedi Order. But she had, and she was sorely missed. And not only for her battle skills. Maybe Padme was thinking the same thing, and missing Anakin's young Padawan almost as much as he was. At the very least, she understood enough not to ask him if someone else could fill in for him in the upcoming battle.
"It'll be okay,"
she said instead.
"You've met some of my former handmaidens. You know how well trained they are in combat and espionage."
"Duja's a decent one?"
"One of the best,"
Padme assured him.
"Once we're together, it'll be the enemy whose protector needs to be worried."
"Maybe." Anakin cocked an eyebrow. "Not one of your better lines, by the way."
"I know,"
Padme said.
"I have to save all of those for the Senate."
She sighed.
"Anakin, do you think this war will ever end?"
"Of course," Anakin said automatically, with an enthusiasm he wasn't really feeling. Because it was a question they were all asking. Would it ever end?